And welcome back to the LinkedIn Logs, the jobs podcast for the website cpluscomedy.com. Like I just said, is a website. Go there. Welcome in. We are on episode, Jesus, I don't know what episode this is. 82. I just typed it in. Again, we are live on LinkedIn. The thing not a single person has asked for. Welcome back in. What was I going to talk about? Anyway, okay. What's been going on for me? Well, we are post Labor Day. baby, when you don't work, every day is Labor Day. Why does that exist? I'm not going to look it up. You know, it's this is uninteresting. I live in Atlanta, and there I go to the gym. I come home from the gym around 7ish. I see kids waiting for the bus. And I always try to beat the bus out there. I am not somebody who speeds past the bus, but if I can beat that bus and not have to sit behind the bus, oh, thank goodness. I'm the happiest boy alive. Anyway, I've been seeing a couple of kids waiting at their corner since roughly July. And then I go, wow, school's back in early. But I knew the first day of school wasn't for that. I thought I'm monitoring the first day of school. Anyway, I come to find out, I was in my apartment complex, minding my own business. And one of my neighbors who I'm friendly with, she was talking. She was walking by me, and then we started talking about work. And then she was like, "Yeah, I have to. I'm doing this and this and this." And I went, "Wait a minute. She's a teacher." And I go, "Wait a minute. So you're going, like, are you guys, you getting ready for the first day of school? This is like August." She goes, No. We've been in school for a month. I work at a charter school." And I went, "What?" So I just realized that the kids I've been seeing go to a charter school. Isn't that fun? I don't even know the definition of fun. Anyway, I took to LinkedIn this morning to write a very just to post something. You know, people love posting things on LinkedIn. Now I've been thinking about this post for a week. We're coming up on 3 years with no long-term employment. Now, of course, there was one part of my life, one part of this journey, where I spent several months working for a tennis club by Piedmont Park. Oh, somebody's up. Here's a little thing. On Saturday, I took Maverick, the dog, to a dog park that is not near where we live. On the way back, it was such a long drive to him because he's not a dog that likes riding in the car. It was such a long drive to him. It was roughly like 30 minutes, 20 or 30 minutes. By the time we got back home, he'd been like running around, not really running around the car, but like moving around the car, shifting himself, and he got himself tangled in the seatbelt. I put him in the back. I'm literally at one of the gates to get into the complex, and I turn, and he is just panting and just so scared, and he's quite literally twisted and tangled up inside of the inside of the seatbelt. That he's hanging, and like one leg's up, the hind leg is up in the air and everything, and he's like panting hard, and so I spend like 2 minutes trying to get him out of that. Scolding him and everything. We go inside. We get upstairs, and everything's kosher. Sunday morning, he is whimpering. He refuses to move, and I'm like, "What's going on, dude?" I pet him, and then he yelps. I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" So he's hurt himself, and I immediately point back to the moment where he was tangled up in the spider web of the seatbelt. Throughout the day, I'm checking on him. He's eating. He goes to poop. The only thing he won't do is come upstairs. And then I immediately go, it must be a muscle thing. Throughout the day, I'm checking on him, watching tennis, checking on him, playing video games, checking on him, watching a movie, checking on him. And he can go downstairs. He just won't come upstairs. He will refuse. And every time that happens, I go, bud, that's your fault. But I'm giving him grace. I'm being as nice as I possibly can. And he's eating and he's peeing and he's pooping. That's great. And there's no blood. He's just muscle soreness. He's just not getting up, unless I'm like, dude, we gotta go outside. You have to go potty. Anyway, he's fine. I hope so. God, I hope he's fine. All right, I lost a damn cat. Anyway. So I wrote a post. I've been thinking about this for a week. Because again, we're almost 3 years into this without a regular job. And I thought about, how am I going to get this to pop? How am I going to get people to look at this post? What do I see all the time? Mental health, mom stuff, pregnancy, artificial intelligence, army, the nation, support the troops. That's what you see all the time when you're on LinkedIn. So I just wrote a bunch of buzzwords up top: mental health, content, pregnant mom, armed forces, artificial intelligence. Now, it sounds like I'm the biggest troll in the world. And I love using words like troll and vibe and content. It sounds like I'm a jerk. And you know what? I know it's coming across as that, but here's the thing. Again, I said it once and I'm harp on this continuously. People on LinkedIn write the craziest shit that you've ever seen. And it's always wild. And it's always like this sappy thing that has nothing to do with working. And yet they put it's on LinkedIn. It gets 70 million likes. It gets shared. There's job offers in the comments. People are like commiserating and they're like, we should work together. Here's a job offer. You should apply for this and then I'll give it to you. And it's ridiculous. So I decided to do my version of that. And if it comes off as me being a jerk, then so be it. Mental health. So this post says, now that I have your attention, 3 years is a long time to go without working. I've only had a handful of interviews in the past few years. I've written countless bullshit cover letters and made several different resumes. I borrowed so much money, I cannot be able to pay back. Yes, I chose an industry, the business of show, that's volatile, but I also have 10 years of producing chops, not including running a successful portfolio, C+ Comedy, where I interview celebrities. I'm so much better than that SEC college grad with no real resume or life experience. Now, that sounds like it is a dig, and it is. But what I have found across the 5 or 6 major jobs that I've worked, is that every single person that has been hired has gone to a giant, big school, and they have those connections to get them jobs literally wherever they are, and they're 21, 22 years old. They just graduated, and they're already working at these big jobs. Whereas it took me so long to get from college graduation to a job. And then also, even at that point, I was making $10 an hour. And then after I lost that, I had to go dog walk. And then after that, contracted role for, I don't know how much I was making at Weather Channel. I don't remember. Let's say 17, because it definitely was not enough. But you know what? I went to each one of these jobs with a friggin' smile on my face. The good news is I spend roughly 3 hours a day working out. That's the reason why I post this, because there's an accompanying video of the short of it is I on my Strava account I record 1 or 2, sometimes 4 exercises that are brand new or that I'm PRing in for my workout. I do work out 3 hours a day. It's insane, but I have nothing else to do with my life. So I went over the past couple of months. What is it? September. So I went over the past 9 months, and I picked and chose a bunch of exercises that I thought were fun to put in a video for a minute. Here's a video of me showing that, parentheses below. I've ranked in the top 1% on Strava, tagged, for the past few years with an ongoing 373-week streak. I am a consistently heavy user of Peloton Interactive. If they ranked, I'm sure that I'd be in the top 2. I promise, if you hire me, that will translate into my work. I will be so goddamn good at work, you'll be like, that guy's good at work. I questioned whether or not to add 2 more goddams because I thought that'd be very funny. But I'm already cursing in here, so who gives a poop? Sorry, shit. Here are my pros. Won't talk about you behind your back. That's for cowards. Will show up every day. I have never taken a vacation in my life. Can't afford to. Am a feminist. The pregnant mom bit notwithstanding. Total hottie. I won't tell HR either of us said that. Can lift more and run faster than anyone in the office. Guaranteed, hands down. Built a portfolio, parentheses, again, C plus comedy, from ground up before every single person you know started a quote-unquote brand. Such a cool personality, I can talk about books, music, video games, movies, TV shows, anything. Those are my pros. Here are my cons. Nothing. I'm fucking perfect. Now, if you are a user of LinkedIn, you're probably thinking, hey, shouldn't be cursing in here. Thing is, I don't care. It doesn't matter. Again, I see people write damn near suicide notes, so might as well take what I can get at this one. Yes, I've applied to every job you can think of, including all the ones you're currently thinking of. Also, the ones you're about to send me. Trust me. I've mentioned it before. Every single job that anyone's ever sent me is something I've applied to. Most recently, the CBS affiliate here broke off. They broke off. Yeah, they broke off from CBS. So now they're their own news channel, local broadcast news channel. And CBS also started a local Atlanta chapter that's under their branding. So that's 2 opportunities to get jobs. They're both hiring, yet both will not hire me. Trust me, I've applied. There's no one you can go talk to. You can't just walk up to the door. It's not 1942 anymore. Also, they probably would not hire me in 1942. Too dark. I have been denied countless times, even from retail. True. There's no lie in this. If you've never been, I'm not fucking perfect. If you've never been in this position in this century, parentheses, not 19-something where rents and pretty much everything were cheaper, then you know the exact pain. Don't just look at my profile. That's a pointed thing because I have just recently discovered that a lot of people look at my profile, yet they've not been making any fucking moves. I'm going to mark this as explicit. This is the clean show. Don't just look at my profile. LinkedIn is all a bunch of adults trying so hard that it comes across as disingenuous. I'm not disingenuous. I'm genuous and smart and funny and charming and will kill for you. Just kidding, just kidding, just kidding. Question mark. Hire me, please. Parenthesis. Or if you're not hiring, share this. That's what people do, right? Share posts. Then I linked the portfolio. I linked celebrity interviews. I linked my muck rack. And then I tagged every single company, including ones that I used to work for, that did not hire me. So there you go. I'm sorry. I'm doing a little editing. I noticed that there was a word missing. So I posted that along with the video of me working out. Oh, and a bunch of more hashtags. Hashtag LinkedIn. Hashtag linked out. That is I love LinkedIn linked out. Mental health, hashtag parenthood, hashtag pregnant, hashtag content, hashtag brand, hashtag AI, hashtag buzzwords. Now, I'm not one to track metrics on a post. I got a like, and then I lost one like. Which is ridiculous. How dare you take away your friggin' like of me? Oh my goodness gracious. Anyway, that's the post. Hopefully it gains some traction. Hopefully no one sends me a DM saying I need to delete that. Because honey, we can switch places in life and you'll send out something a lot more dire. Trust me. All right, let's move on to this to one of the main stories. This comes from last week. This is a story from last week. Written by Katie Robertson. Published to the New York Times. The Atlanta Journal-Constitution is going to quit print cold turkey. After 150 years, the AJC, as we know it here, is no longer doing the print thing. And December 31st, I believe, is the last day. The current president and publisher, Andrew Morse, said that this is going to protect journalism. They're going to go all digital. Their numbers are screwy, but they think that this is the way to go. Morse said the goal is to reach 500,000 paid digital subscribers by the end of 2026, which would make them profitable. Currently, they have 115 total paid subscribers, with only 75,000 of those digital only, which is up from 55,000 at the end of 2023, but they're currently on track to not reach that 500,000 goal. That's not to say that they can't do it, but the AJC is so comparatively small to a company like the New York Times, a company like the LA Times, even the Chicago Tribune. And I think a lot of people still rely on that physical paper. And not just, homeless people trying to make a fire or anything. I think a lot of people still rely on that paper. So much so that, when I used to work when I was in college, I had 5 jobs. I've mentioned this before. My senior year, I had 5 jobs. And one of them, I was working at a company called Green Pages, Inc. I think that's the name of the company. I don't remember. And they had 2 sides of the company. One was printing phone books that had, they're phone books. They had all the businesses in all of Chattanooga, Tennessee, and the surrounding areas. And then the other side was their web development business, where they would, or web advertising and web development. They would build websites and advertise them. They would build websites for companies, a lot of them in the phone books, and then advertise them and put them out and everything. And I worked on the web development side. I was writing for the news for their website. I was writing copy and stuff, and I was paid so little. Oh my goodness! So they had those, but the sides were kind of uneven, mostly because you would think that a company should, in today's day and age, or in that time, 2013 and 14's day and age, that nobody would want phone books anymore. But this is Chattanooga, Tennessee. Yes, they have fiber optic internet with EPB. They what else do they have in Chattanooga? There's other things. There's violence. However, they also have a lot of rural areas where the internet isn't big or as important. It's important, but it's not something that people can get easily. They have an older client. They have a lot of older people that live there. So the clientele there with this job was an older sect of people who would probably rely on, this is where I'm getting at, rounding it bases back to AJC and the New York Times and digital media, digital journalism. A lot of those people rely on physical hand to touch. Hire me. Hand to touch papers and books and all that jazz, phone books and all that jazz. So to say that the AJC is, yes, probably wasting money because they print the newspaper in Gainesville, Georgia, at a facility that they do not own. So they are losing money. But in 2020, 40,000 subscribers received the print newspaper, which is down from 94,000 in 2020. And in 2004, the Sunday's paper edition had the highest circulation at 630,000. So if they're going to be the company that they want to be, if they want to be that digital only subscription, leaning towards the New York Times, which has now created a surging subscription, digital subscription footprint, even though same thing for Wall Street Journal, and I would say the same thing for the Washington Post at this point in time. Their physical sales are still pretty decent. They would need to do, two things, more or less. One, a lot of local advertising saying, hey, we're switching to digital. We're going towards digital. Join us on digital. Two, offer a lot of stuff for digital. Like, you can't just have access to AJC.com. For the most part, the New York Times, like just even looking at the New York Times, offers so much when it comes to what you get. In my all access subscription, I get news, I get games, and I get cooking. Yes, I utilize all of them. And yes, it is worth the price of admission. Although you can call and say, hey, I'm going to unsubscribe, and they'll be like, oh, we'll give you $10 a month. So Cox Enterprises owns AJC. They also own WSB, which is Channel 2 Action News, which is one of the most popular local news stations, I believe, in the nation. I believe. That's what I was told when I was working at 11 Live News, which is ranked number 3 out of 4. It's not good. Now, I don't know where this will put the AJC in the future. I can only assume that they're going to give this all that they have. I know I gave 3 reasons as to what, and because I completely forgot the other one I was going to say, but it is possible. Again, they need to advertise. They need to offer more. They need to offer more within the subscription. Oh, and the third thing is they need to do real journalism. True. And this is not me saying because they've never hired me. I've never even gotten a call back, and again, I'm 10 years in my career, and I'm really good at what I do, but this shitty newspaper refuses to hire me. I'm going to continue talking smack. It shows I have chutzpah. But they need to do real boots on the ground news. This is a challenge to them, because when I look at a story from the AJC, they seem very fluffy. They seem so very cheap and easy that anybody can write it. When I was writing for that website, the entertainment website, that's what they wanted. They wanted easy. They don't want anything that's negative, even though that's what news is. Carrie Coon does not want to return to the Marvel Universe. I wrote an article about that. And then they, as the editor, quote unquote, went in and changed everything I said. It went from an 800-word article down to like 400. She cut out all the quotes from her husband, from Carrie Coon's husband. It's ridiculous. You shouldn't be able to do that, especially without saying anything to me. That's why I'm better than everybody who wrote there. Anyway, but the front page of the AJC is very crucial. It's very crucial, and people should be able to come here and find the news that they trust. In fact, I would rather read the AJC, even digitally. I'd rather read it digitally than watch local news or go to a local news website, because they're so ridden with ads and marketing that it makes it unfun. If I go to 11alive.com, and I'm not just choosing them because I used to work there, but if I go to 11alive.com, there's points to live streaming, 11 Alive Plus, and there's ads flying over the place, even though I have an ad blocker on. It shouldn't be this difficult to find local news. Nothing will make me stay on a website less than not being able to find what I want and seeing ads fly over the place. So AJC, this is a challenge for you from me to step up the reporting. And I'm so positive. I blame the higher ups, but I'm so positive that the reporters are throwing out ideas. You know, they're pitching ideas is the term. They're pitching ideas, and someone up top is going, too negative. I can almost guarantee that, because if I click on business, I need to see some big stories that are talking about Atlanta businesses, as opposed to, hey, Atlanta, plan for busy roads and skies for Labor Day weekend. You're a newspaper. Talk to me like it. All right, and this next final story comes from Andrew Limbong. That's a cool name. Andrew Limbong at NPR. Limbong. Vogue promotes Chloe Mall to the top editor spot. This morning, as I was cycling on my bike, as you can see back there, I was watching the news. YouTube TV is great because you can get a multi-view, not of every channel you want, but of all the news channels and the most watched channels, which for some reason include like Bravo and like HGTV and things like that. What I'm saying is I want to be able to, right now I have the US Open on. I want to be able to watch The Simpsons, which is on FXX right now, and the US Open. Just saying. Anyway. But I was watching the news, and I have my four main ones: CNN, Good Morning America, Today Show, CBS Mornings, and I was watching those. And I saw a story about Anna Wintour choosing her successor. Now, this announcement, they said specifically in that story, we'll get news later this week, and quite literally, as soon as they put that story out, I got an email on even on C Plus Comedy's email account. This news came that Chloe was chosen as the new face of Vogue. The company announced Tuesday that Chloe Mall is the new head of editorial content for American Vogue. She moves into the position 2 months after the legendary Anna Wintour announced she was stepping away from running Vogue's day-to-day editorial. Wintour is now focusing on overseeing global content for Vogue and its publisher Condé Nast, which means though Mall has taken over the reins of American Vogue, she'll still report directly to Wintour. Mall started working at Vogue in 2011 as a social editor. Also, this is neither here nor there. She's 39 years old, which I think is wonderful for a young woman to step into a major role like this. But also, we're too close in age, and I have yet to even land like a job where I can make money and also save money and also have health care. More recently, she was the editor of Vogue's website, where, according to the announcement, she oversaw, quote, double-digit growth across all metrics. Mall was also instrumental in increasing Vogue's wedding coverage, including the June 2025 cover featuring Lauren Sanchez ahead of her marriage to Jeff Bezos. If you don't know, she's also the daughter of Murphy Brown star Candice Bergen, which is very cool. I think that's very neat. you know, that's how she was able to get her start. But again, neither here nor there. The magazine industry is still a little bit in the same way that the AJC is having trouble with print. So is the magazine industry, not even as well as the print fashion magazine industry. Vogue has to compete with the infinite amount of fashion influencers for traffic. There's, also a lot of great New York Times and Wall Street Journal writers who are covering more or less interesting fashion stuff as well. But this is a really big step for someone who is very young, managing a periodical that is as storied as its owner. I wonder how someone in this position, runs everything. Is she going to run it the same way that she runs the website? There's a Vogue website I'm learning. If I type in Vogue.com, where does it take me? It takes me to Vogue. All right, look at that. You see Chloe Mall as the on the front page there. Okay. This is a pretty well-designed website. I'm not going to click through and read anything, but good for her. All right, I'm done. Listen, if you like what you heard here, head to the website, cpluscomedy.com, where you can see me talk to famous people sometimes. If you want to see a video version of this show, go to youtube.com/cpluscomedy, where you can see a video version of this show, as well as the other podcasts, Late Night Lately, the Late Night Show, currently on hiatus, and the Constitutionals, which is the entertainment business news show. You can also see video versions of my talks with celebrities under the interviews. Subscribe to those shows wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on social media, Blue Sky, TikTok, Instagram @CPlusComedy, me @ChatBlackWhite. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye. Hire me, baby.